Hey guys, it's Roberta here. Okay, so I wanted to just talk about something called, I've been diagnosed with a couple things, so I kind of want to explain what they were. I just want to explain, like, well, I have disabilities, and I wanted to explain what they were. I did I suffered two head injuries when I was younger. One when I was 5, I fell backwards at a community college swimming pool and cracked open the back of my head, which like somewhere, I think it was this side. And then when I was 10, I fell off. My brother was walking me to catechism class, and he was riding his bike, and my brother, I don't know, they always complained that I walked too slow, and I did, or whatever it was. So he was getting impatient with me, and he told me, so what he did was he picked me up and put me on his bike. Then he started riding his bike, and I don't know if he hit my leg or, I'm not sure exactly. I don't really remember. But all I remember is opening my eyes and being on the ground, and my foot was caught in my right foot, I believe, was caught in the spokes of his bike, the wheel of his bike. And I apparently did like sort of like a somersault, and my face, I had head first and face first into the road. I wind up having chipped teeth. My whole, I'm not sure if that's probably why my nose has that thing right here. Yeah, the whole face. I mean, my face was so swollen that they took x-rays. They couldn't tell. They had to wait a little bit to tell if my nose was broken or something like that. That's all I remember. My lip, I had like cuts in my, because my teeth apparently cut, or cut underneath my lip or whatever. I had to have about $2,000 or $3,000 worth of dental work done, which, right now, you're seeing, I think I said this before, I've got all this bonding work done, and the stupid asthma medication pretty much messed up this part. It actually ate through my, or did damage my, like, so many years of using this. It's called Advair. Be very careful if you have dental work, like bonding or anything like that. If you use Advair, Advair will destroy your dental work. You could brush your teeth, you're blue in the face, it will destroy your dental work. So if you have fillings, or if you have bonding, if you have what do they call them, caps, anything like that, this medicine will destroy it. So I have to get a prosthetic put in, which means it is surgery, dental surgery, or oral surgery, whatever you call it. And they have to, but it's basically all broken right here. It chipped. Basically what you're seeing, which I really don't like to show people, you know what I mean. What you're seeing is what it would have looked like when my accident happened. That's what you're seeing, all of it underneath the bonding. So now that it's broken off, and the one tooth broke, I had that fixed. $150 out of pocket. Did not accept my insurance, or my insurance would not cover it. Then, I think that's what the issue was, it would not cover. Then, years later, then this broke, and then this one got weak again because I was still using that medication. and asking the doctor to please take me off this medication, and it destroyed the other tooth. So now that's why it's like this. So no, it's not from not brushing, whatever you call it. But like I said, it will eat away at your dental work. Totally mess up your teeth. Yeah. So if you don't believe me, that you can. There's other people. I don't know if you find it online or not, but I mean, I read news articles, because it also causes, like, when your asthma medication causes you to have severe dry mouth also. So I mean, like I said, you can brush and brush and brush till you're blue in the face, and it's not gonna, whatever. And some people say, oh, well, I have asthma and I don't have that. Well, that's good for you. Good for you, but if you have, it will make your teeth soft. Okay? So, anyway, moving on. I don't want to talk about that anymore, but anyway. But yes, I had received head injuries. Okay, which caused that, which have caused, excuse me. Now, these disorders develop over time. You won't have too much symptoms when you're younger, but as you get older, and I'm 41 years old, I'll be 42 in September, it has increased and has caused really bad, disabling stuff to happen to me. So, I have PBA. Now, I didn't know. I was not diagnosed until a few years ago with the PBA. Okay, so I'm going to start. I used to have bad muscle spasms and all kinds of stuff. Okay, my mother was never recommended to a neurologist. I don't even know if that medical center knew what was going on with, or it's such a rare. These things I'm diagnosed with are very rare diseases or syndromes, whatever you want to call them. So I don't think. Now I'm talking about late mid 80s to middle 90s. I would say, like, in the mid 90s, when I was grammar school, when I was between 7th and 8th, all through high school. Is what I'm talking about. So I had no idea I had any of this. But I know I had a couple episodes of stuff that my mother was not recommended. I don't think that they told my mother it was a virus. I don't think they knew what the hell was wrong with me. Because, like I said, these things are so rare. It wasn't until I had my severe migraine. I actually got diagnosed at a hospital in another county than the county that I lived in, which I know is one of the good hospitals. The other hospital was like having lawsuits. They didn't know from their head to their elbow for anybody. I mean, my cousin had seizures, and they didn't know what the hell was going on. She got diagnosed with seizures through Robert Wood Johnson's in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Okay, the neurology department there had to diagnose her. I mean, it was, and she was paralyzed on one side because her seizure was so severe. She sort of had brain damage or something like that. So, they didn't know what the hell they were doing. They were lousy. So then when I was early 20s, I'm going to say early 20s. I don't, maybe between 21 and 23, I would guess. I don't remember. when I was, okay, so they diagnosed me with scoliosis when I was 20 or 21, which they kept saying, this county kept saying, well, the school district, oh, no, because you know how they used to do those exams in school where they tested you for scoliosis? Oh, you're great, you're normal, blah, blah, blah. Okay, no, I had lower lumbar scoliosis. And it took I think it was a back x-ray or an MRI because I was having problems. For the one doctor to diagnose me with that. So I had that problem. I've been having, I had some weird episode thing when I was 15. That's when they told my mother that it's a virus, blah, blah. No, that's not what it was. Then when I had something else, some kind of neck spasm thing when I was 17 or 18 years old. Oh, she just slept the wrong way. No, that's not what it was. They had no clue. Never recommended. I don't know. They never recommended a neurologist. Okay, so when I was 20, so like I said, then I was diagnosed with scoliosis. Then when I was, like I said, between 22 and 23, I believe, I finally was recommended to a neurologist, Dr. Meon. So I went to Dr. Meon, and he said I had tricholis, or whatever they call it, tricholis or something, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. And that was supposedly the muscle spasms that I was receiving in my neck, and my head, and my neck. Well, he said migraines from like my head all the way down to my neck, and then I had tricholis. Then they said bursitis. They don't know. So let me see. When I moved to this county, in around 2003, I had a massive migraine. And some sinus infection thing and all that, and I wind up so what happened was I was tired, and then I went to sleep, and when I woke up I had lost my speech. I was slurred speech. So then they rushed me to the hospital in this county where I'm at now. Now, they gave me an excellent neurologist, top number one in New Jersey neurologist. The guy knew what the hell he was talking about. I mean, he was up on things and everything. So he said I had dyskinesia and dystonia, or mild dystonia or something, with the tricholis or something like that. So, and spasm. So, but for some reason I knew about the dysplasia, whatever they call it. That means you lose your speech is slur. I had to have speech therapy I was out of work for 5 months. I worked in one of our grocery stores here. I was out of work for 5 months. I had to go to speech therapy and all kinds of stuff. But then the other thing was, I got diagnosed with PTSD, depression. But those two things are related to the head injury. And then he retired. Oh, and they did say I had some I do have scar tissue on my brain. They said that, that was also mentioned when they did the CAT scan, MRIs, the whole 9 yards I had. And then now he retired, so I got switched to I was recommended a different neurologist, or whoever was taking over. So that's at Midway Orthopedics and Neurology. So I go there to see this guy, and explain about, it's some particular type of migraine, and I know our simple frugalness home, Sheila, she had mentioned about this particular migraine. She even knew about this particular migraine that I'm talking about, where you go to sleep and you wake up. If you're now, all these things I'm talking about are triggered by stress. I cannot. These are cell and nerves. The nervous system, basically, and it's like cells were not developed properly, or damaged. So I have head trauma, so my development and my cells and my nerves are damaged, basically. I have terrible nerve damage on my right side. It's all due to that accident, to the falling off the bike accident. And some of the head injury, or some of the things with my head, are from hitting the back of my head and the front part of my head. So so then I went to him and we discussed a few things. I got diagnosed with PBA. Now, PBA is uncontrollable laughter and uncontrollable crying. Sometimes you laugh for nothing. Sometimes you cry and you don't know what the hell you're crying over. And it actually gets misdiagnosed as a mental illness when it's not. They do use certain medications that are classified as antidepressants, but they are the older antidepressants that they're now using for migraines and head trauma patients. Let's get that straight. So your medication could say antidepressant, but it's being used in a new way, because they are bringing back some of the older antidepressants or whatever you want to call it. They're bringing those back, but they're not using them for mental illness. They're using them for head trauma patients or migraines. So I'm making that very clear. But it does get misdiagnosed by psychologists, and I believe that I was misdiagnosed, labeled wrongly in school. I did have to relearn math again. Math is very difficult, especially I like to think of it in my head. Don't ask me. You cannot ask me math to figure math out in my head, because it's very extremely difficult. And recalling things, recalling memory. Like if I said something to you last week and you asked me again this week, I would need a hint or a clue. I wouldn't remember what you're talking about. And that's what I'm talking about. That is the part that has progressed. The pain is 24/7. It's every part. Well, the dystonia is in the upper part of my body and in my lower, and then, well, it starts in your upper part of your body. So, like I said, your head, your neck, and your shoulders. And then as you get older, it works its way down. So, it's basically twisting of your. Basically a twisting of the muscles. It's a severe twisting. And you can't, like, if it's in your neck, you constantly have to go. I'm constantly moving. I have to constantly be moving and stuff like that. So, the other thing I have is, I forget what it's called now, which is when you're when you're something graph. Oh man. It's when you're constantly writing things. Like you have to write constantly. But that's like I said, all part of this head trauma. It's like psychological. I would say it's psychological more than neurological. All the problems I have are neurological. Which they did say neurologically impaired. I believe that's what they said in school. But I don't know. I think they really labeled it wrong, and they ended up putting me in. See, we didn't have what they call special ed. We didn't have that in the younger school. I think it was like kindergarten through 4th grade. We didn't have it. So, well, now they do, but when I went to school there, they didn't have it. So they stuck me. I don't know. It was so weird. They stuck me in a school that was considered a middle school, which would be like 5th. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. It's 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. But at that time, they said that was middle school. Or I guess now they call it middle school. But it was all like in one, I don't know. It was all in one thing. But now they switched it all around. But anyway, because now one of the schools is 7th and is 6th. Yeah, they switched everything around. Because one of the schools is 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Then they go to the high school. And I got pushed into this school, which the school district was horrible as it is. And what happened was, I was with older kids, like I said, 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, basically, and then I was abused. One of the teachers wound up severely abusing me. She would, I can make another video about that, but anyway, about physical and verbal abuse by teachers. I am going to actually do a video. But she would basically stab me with pencils, bang my head on the wall. Knowing that I suffered a head injury, she banged my head on the wall, on the blackboard rather. Then she kept punishing me, taking my lunch recess away. Yeah, she was horrible, absolutely horrible, this lady. And would you believe our state board of education could not fire her? This is back in the 80s. Could not fire her because she had a 10-year contract. And if they fired her, she could sue the school district. But we'll talk about that in another video. Anyway, because there's a lot of teachers that do that. and get away with it. Anyway, and I'm a big advocate on about teachers abusing children. So, and she still teaches to this day, which I protest and protest. But she's God. Anyway, so, like I said, so I had an episode in 2003. Had a repeat. Well, what it is with these problems, with these disorders. Well, the one disorder. I'm sorry, the dyskinesia, whatever it's called. You go in remission basically. So I was in remission until about 2005, and I had a repeat episode. I had another episode. So I wind up leaving the grocery store, and I didn't work for 7 months. I can't remember. I think it was 7 months. Then I started working for Walmart. I worked for Walmart after that, and I was in remission for a while. And then one day I woke up and I had another episode again. So that was either 3 or 4 episodes. Now, I've been doing really well with that, but once in a while, if I'm too tired, my speech does start to slur. I catch myself. Okay, so sorry that this video is a little bit long, but anyway, I just want to make sure I made this. So then I was diagnosed with like I said, PBA. I was diagnosed with dystonia. I was diagnosed with the dyskinesia, whatever. Like I said, these are rare disorders, and it's caused by MS, stroke, head injury. I think one of them is if you take medication and have a reaction. But that usually when you have a reaction to medication, it's usually temporary. It's not a permanent, but what I have is permanent. So, wow, that what I have is permanent. So, I can't. There's no cure for any of it. It's terribly disabling, I can tell you. Very upsetting to me, because I used to be in dance competitions. I used to be on the swim team, and I had stopped. I still dance, but none like I think I just do it to like have exercise at this point. I can never like go back to like performing arts ever again. And then I recently broke my ankle in 2 spots, so there's no way I would ever be able to. I'm pretty much done with that. I'm lucky if I can do Zumba or the gym. Like I said, sports, I did tennis, swim team, tennis, and yeah, that's where like I'm saying the depression comes in, because like you're such an athletic person, and then to be not have these problems and not know what in the frig is like going on, and then not being recommended to a neurologist until you're like in your freaking 20s. and then you're finding out, and then you're like, what? But then you still can. I mean, I still did dance, I still did all this stuff, but it's progressive. And then you're done. You're done with your. It's like you can't. It's like, yeah, I had to like really wrap my head around that. I can't even like, cause it's like destroys my it's the cells, the nervous system, and the muscles. It really destroys your muscle. I've lost muscle strength, and they did think I had MS. I mean, they were thinking I had MS at one point, and I'm like thinking my friend of my mom's had MS, and she would in New York, and she would go visit her, and I'm like, I was a little kid, and I'm looking at this lady, and I'm thinking, I felt really terrible for that lady that she had MS like that, and I believe she passed away from it. Yeah, she did. She passed away. But I remember feeling very bad. And stuff. My mother was very big into Special Olympics and things. My brother had a lot of special needs. He had learning problems when he was little, and he was in special education classes. I was in regular classes until I had the accident. And like I said, I had to go because I had to learn math again, like, because I was into like up to almost like division, I think, or something, or multiplication, whatever it is you learn when you're like, I think I was in third. I'm trying to remember what grade I was in. Oh, I was in fourth grade. Fourth? Yeah, I was going in the fourth grade. So I was in regular mainstream class up until fourth grade. And then I had to go, I think, or something like, no, wait. Because third grade. I was in third grade, so I think I was 9. Maybe I was 9. Yeah, I think I was 9, maybe. Because I was in third grade. And I was the youngest one in the class, I remember. So I had to learn. Because like I said, she abused me, and then they switched school. There was another school that took younger kids, and that school had, I don't know why they, but I think that school might have been in fourth grade. I don't know, but for some reason they, I couldn't go to, I don't know why they did that, but anyway, I guess they just felt like screwing me up. So then, then I switched to the other school, and then that was my brother's teacher when he was younger. So she was so nice, Mrs. Price, and she, such a nice teacher. And then I was okay there, and then they switched me back to the stupid idiot again in 5th grade. And I had such problems that a child psychology, or the school psychologist, whatever they call it, had to come in from the state. Now, he was hired by the state to come and investigate, and he caught her trying to sit on my hands or something like that. And I wind up getting, and then I had to get switched to my 5th grade, my 6th grade year. I was switched to a different town to go to school. to get me away from her. My mom might have had a restraining order. I don't know what took place, but they switched schools. And I stayed there 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and then I went to the high school. So that, I actually had, well, sort of, had a good experience. It was iffy. The teachers were nice. The one teacher, Mrs. Asher, she was a really nice teacher. I had her, and my grades really improved. When I went to the other school, my grades improved. But I had a few issues with bullying there, unfortunately. Because they can go to school in our town, but if you go to school in their town, it's a different story, because a lot of them had this. A lot of their students had this. Their parents had this. So you got treated like a piece of garbage, really. But 8th grade, I don't know about that. Well, that's when I met that boy. But anyway, moving on. So then, so that's what happened there. But you should just evaluate and make sure that your teachers that you have for your child have patience if your child has a learning disability, because a lot of them don't have sensitivity training, and they will verbally and physically abuse your child, and you have to really just keep an eye on it. But so I wanted to explain what those disorders are, in case I can help somebody out there. Maybe their child is experiencing it, or has had head trauma, and maybe is experiencing some of this, or even an adult that had head trauma is experiencing. But I'm letting you know that, like I said, these disorders are progressive. So you'll have very mild symptoms when you're younger. If you're a child that had a head injury, develop, and then it will mess up with their development, and then you need to make sure that you either have a developmental center or a neurologist. But don't ever let your pediatrician tell you your child is fine. If you don't think, if you suspect anything, take your child to a developmental center. I really recommend it, because that's what, for my son, I had to do that, and that's how we found that he had Asperger's. So, so I really encourage parents to do that. If they see something that's not right with their child, or it could be a normal thing, but if it seems off to you, then make sure you get your child to a neurologist, a child development team, or something. So I just wanted to explain that. Maybe that, to help someone, that if they think they're feeling alone about that, or they're experiencing symptoms like this and they don't know what's wrong with them. I'm not saying it could be other things, but it mimics a lot of different things, but you're better off getting it checked. But I will tell you that the dystonia situation, I'm gonna get weird now. It looks like you're possessed by the devil, and your bones you're having a spasm, and your fingers go in like this, and it's very weird. So I just want to warn you that that's what that looks like. That's why my hands, I don't know if you guys could see, but that is why my fingers are kind of weird. Because it comes like it actually does get misdiagnosed with arthritis too. It's sort of like an arthritis. Oh, and I also have what's it called? Raynaud's disease. I also have Raynaud's disease syndrome, whatever you're calling it. I also have that, and that is where your extremities, you have to be in controlled temperatures, like it can't be too cold, or you can't be too cold, because it's when your extremities get ice cold, your skin turns white, and your limbs get numb, like you're paralyzed. And I have my ankle, or my heel on my right foot is actually paralyzed. But I believe that's from, well, that could be from Raynaud's and the dystonia together. So, and that is extremely painful. When if you get cold, and then your finger, like you get somewhere warm, and then you get to warm up, it literally feels like your limbs are on fire, like you're burning, and it's very bad. So, I'm going to mention that. So it's PBA, PBA, dystonia, dyskinesia, and Raynaud's disease. So that's what I have, and I have PTSD, and depression, but all of that is from the head trauma. So just wanted to make a video about those things and explain what they are. Like I said, if anybody's experiencing anything like that, make sure you are seen by a neurologist that knows what the hell they're talking about, that is up on these disorders, because they're very rare, and a lot of neurologists don't know about it. A lot of pediatricians don't know. A lot of medical physicians, like family doctors, a lot of them are, if they're older, they don't know about it, because a younger doctor might have more training on it. From what I've seen, because the neurologist I'm seeing is probably in his 40s, late 40s, I would say. I'm thinking that's how old he is. I don't think he's anything older than that, but he knows his shit. So, well, both neurologists knows their shit. So I was glad. So I'm just, getting by every day. So gotta do what I have to do. Be on pain medication. I'm gonna try something holistic though. I mentioned it before. I'm gonna try salt caves, because salt caves helps a lot of people. It's a holistic treatment. So like I said, I'm gonna try it. But I hope this video is, I'm sorry it's so long, but I hope it helps somebody. Please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.